Hello everyone, I hope you're well, and today we are going to learn about the different types of triangles. So I'm sure you know a lot about triangles already, but let's learn a little bit more. And of course, with the name triangle, we know that the name triangle comes from the fact that it is three different sides. So tri also means three. So let's work through this. So the aim is to identify and discuss different types of triangles. And by the time you finish this, you should be able to name equilateral, isosceles, scalene, and right angle triangles, and to describe the properties of different types of triangles, and maybe to work out the value of a missing angle inside a triangle. So, first of all, what is a triangle? Well, let's find out and see. It's a three-sided shape. All its sides are straight. It's a 2D shape, and it has three interior angles that add up to 180 degrees. So the interior angles are the angles that are found inside the shape. So interior is inside something. So an equilateral triangle, do you think you know any properties of equilateral triangles? What do you think equilateral means? Well, I'm sure you could have a guess if you think about the word equilateral. So it has three equal sides. I'm sure you thought that already. All its interior angles are the same, and we know that the interior angles are found inside the triangle itself. So all these angles measure the same amount. And if the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees, what must each interior angle in an equilateral triangle be? How should we work that out? Well, if we know that the angles all add up to 180 degrees and there are three angles, have a think about it for a moment. How do you think you would find out what the answer might be? Of course, you would divide 180 divided by 3 and you would get 60 degrees. So each of these angles measures 60 degrees. If you want, make sure you pause the video as you're going along, because you don't want to hear the answer before you've already thought of it. So an isosceles triangle, do you think you know any of the properties of an isosceles triangle? If you do, pause the video and have a guess, maybe write it down or say it to an adult or even someone beside you. They have two equal sides, so that's the property of the isosceles triangle, and they have two interior angles that are the same. These are called the base angles because, as you can see, they're at the base of the triangle. And then, of course, it does have one other angle here, but they don't measure the same there. Then we have a scalene triangle. So what are the properties of a scalene triangle? All of its sides are different lengths. So as you can see, this length from here to here is different, and it's different here, and it's also different here, which also means that the interior angles are all different. However, they still add up to 180 degrees. So although the measurements are all different, the angles are all different, the angle degrees are all different, they still measure up to 180 degrees. So, a right-angled triangle. Let's think about it. Well, it's a little bit obvious if we do think about it, that what are the properties of a right-angled triangle? Of course, one of the angles in it is a right angle, and we all know that a right angle measures 90 degrees. A right angle always measures 90 degrees. It never ever changes. The other two angles will add up to 90 degrees, and of course that's because the angles all in a triangle all measure up to 180 degrees. So in one angle, the right angle is 90 degrees, then you'll have to figure out what A and D are there. But of course, when you add them all up together, they will be 180 degrees. The longest side of a right angle triangle is called the hypotenuse. So that's a nice new word there as well. Can you identify these triangles? And do you think you know any of the properties of right-angled triangles? So why don't you pause this, quiz yourself? Maybe you can go back and see what is a scalene triangle, a right-angled triangle, an isosceles, and an equilateral triangle. So there we have it. We've learned about all the different triangles that we would come across. I hope you enjoyed it, and best of luck with your work.